Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing good. Happy Monday to everyone. It's your girl Seeker in the house. Yeah, my video today started a bit later, but who can blame me? It's a holiday. It's a holiday. I'm doing my own stuff. I'm enjoying my own company and, just time to chill out and get some strength back. So here I am with my video this morning. I hope you're doing fine. Some people are probably driving home. It's 11 in the morning here, and it's just a nice, super chilled out day. Bank holiday weekend for Calgarians, for Canadians. And I hope you're all doing good. Hello, Cosmos. How are you doing? I hope you're fine. Today, conversation is all about relationships and marriages and different types of men that you should avoid, not marry, date, or have anything to do with if you're really serious about having a fantastic life in your marriage. The first person that I want to talk about is a lazy man. A man who is lazy will set the family back in time. Increasingly, there are a lot of people who are like that. They don't want to exert themselves in any way, shape, or form. Some people want to ride on the backs of women in order to get where it is that they need to get to. And if you're dating somebody like that, I don't know how your marriage is going to be, but it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to accomplish and make a life with this person. In this era and times that we find ourselves in, there are a lot of young people, especially people who are well-abled bodies, men who have the vitality and the strength and everything in between to be able to work and make a life for themselves. But people want to cut corners. They don't want to work hard, but they want to have everything. Things that took your grandparents and your parents a whole lifetime to have. You want to have it yesterday, but you don't want to exert yourself in any way, shape, or form. Things should just fall on your lap on a silver platter. If you're like that, and you're a woman and you're really seriously thinking that you're going to make a life with this person, you have another thing coming. So a lazy man is not somebody that any woman worth their salt should even consider that they want to have anything to do with. My sister, if you do that, you will suffer. And in a couple hours, I'm coming back to also come and advise my brothers about the sorts of women that men should also never consider as wives or people that they want to spend their lives with also. So that conversation is also coming in a few hours' time. Today is a holiday. I have a lot more time. And so we're going to have a lovely time on this platform today. The second group of men that I wanted to talk about today is a greedy man. A man who is greedy doesn't think about anybody else. They're so self-centered. They are stingy. And all they care about is themselves. So selfish. If you marry a man like that, oh, my sister, you are in big, big trouble. Those people are opportunists. Let's say they meet a girl or a woman and they can see that this family, they are well-to-do. They have money. This family will get me where I need to get to. They're not marrying you or dating you or in a relationship with you because they love you. They want to come to support you to build a life together. No, it's all about what can I get from this relationship? What is in it for me? What are the stakes here? And that's the only reason why they're around you. If you marry a stingy man who doesn't want to dish out anything, all they want is receive all the time, never giving. Oh, my sister, wahala day for your head top. You are in very, very big trouble if you date a greedy, stingy, and selfish. I put all of that in one category. One sort of man that is like that. If you date somebody like that, you marry somebody like that, you're in big trouble. They want to know how much everything costs. If they give you 100,000 naira, you have to come and give account of how every penny of that money was spent. Hey, my sister, wahala day for you. You have big, big problems. So lazy man, Greedy man, please stay away. Selfish man, selfish. All they care about is themselves. Please, I beg, avoid. The third sort of man that you really want to be very cautious about is a lying man. A man who lies. They can't tell a word of truth ever in their lives. They can't. They have to lie about everything. Even the simplest of things, they are lying about it. My sister, if you live with a lying man, how can you ever build trust? How can you ever believe a word that comes out of his mouth? Where did you go? He's telling you he went to work. But you know on good authority that he was somewhere else and not work. It is so difficult to build trust. And when trust is broken or not exactly available in a relationship, it's dead before it even started. Because this is somebody whose word is not their bond. And so you can never believe a word that comes out of their mouth. You're always guessing. This kind of a man, I beg, avoid. It is better for you to be single and by yourself than to be with a lazy, greedy, and now lying sort of guy. My sister, I hope you've heard me. Okay. The next type of guy that I want to really spend time talking about this morning. Good morning, Uncle Raymond. How are you doing? Is an angry man. A man who gets angry over everything. You can't get a word out without him throwing temper tantrums. That is a huge red flag. An angry man already has issues. There's something that is not quite right. You know, he probably has unresolved issues from his childhood or from previous relationships or from something. An angry man. And if that person doesn't process their anger, deal with it, if they need to know how to, apply emotional intelligence and they lack that ability, hey, my sister, you're going to become punching bag. All you have to do is to look at him, and that alone is enough to make him upset. My sister, don't play Mother Teresa. You are not Princess Diana. Don't think that you can change anybody, because you can't. It is not your job to get into a relationship and think you can change somebody, because you can't. A person only changes when they themselves have been convicted about the fact that, this thing that I'm doing, it's not a good thing. And I'm going to make a conscious effort to change. You can't be the one to do the changing. You cannot change anybody. So please, don't deceive yourself. Oh, if I love on him enough, maybe if I do this, then I can change him. I'll teach him how to love and he'll stop being angry. My sister, it won't work. It doesn't work. Please. Please. You know, sometimes these red flags, they're all there. They're glaring. You can see them. But we gloss over them. Why? Because we think, everybody has their mistakes and everybody has flaws. It's true. But there are some things that are very serious. Like when you're dating a guy and you guys go out to have lunch or dinner or whatever, you sit in a car, you get to the restaurant, and this guy is so disrespectful, literally ready to pick a fight with the chef or whoever is serving the food or whoever comes across his way, and that person is a woman. Please, my sister, you better be very careful. Watch that one well, because as soon as you become familiar, when you get married and you're living in the same house and, he's sleeping with you, he's getting the nookie every time and all of those things. Familiarity, they say, breeds contempt. And so when that time comes and, now you've all relaxed now, everybody's got their guard down, everything is fine. You will now become the person that becomes that punching bag. So be very, very careful and watch how that person is. The next kind of guy is kind of very similar, tied into the angry man, is the violent man. Any guy who is very free giving of his hand and everything else in between, be very, very careful about that sort of person. Because trust me, when he's angry and he's not able to control his anger, guess what? Hands will start flying. And they won't fly in the right places. Your face, go chop am. After your face, everywhere else will get it too. I've seen some pictures of what some men have done to their spouses and significant others, and it's unbelievable. People use belts, like the buckle part of their belt, to beat their wife's back, black and blue, and they have all kinds of things going from their face to their back to their everywhere. My sister, don't think that, he only did it once, it is me that provoked him to do that to me. So, he's sorry. And guess what? Violent men are oftentimes narcissists. And you know what they do? When they've done it to you once and you've drawn the boundary to say, I am not tolerating this. I'm not going to take this. You're not going to do this to me. Let's say you pack up your things and you leave, or, you leave their house or whatever. They will come, kneel down and cry like a baby. You will think that the Holy Spirit descended on Pentecost Sunday on all of them, and tell you how it was the devil that did it. They didn't know what came into them. I'm so sorry, honey. I will never do this to you again. I love you so much. Yada, yada, yada. Only to repeat the same thing. This time, the beating will be worse. So the next time it happens, you go chop double whammy beating. And so, my sister, when it happens once is one time enough for you to make up your mind about this sort of person. When a man slaps you and says sorry and you accept it, that, it was just a slap, he was just mad and he did it to you. Next time, it won't just be one slap, it will be a double slap. Because, you took it the first time, so why is the next time going to be any different? You keep forgiving him and forgiving him and forgiving him. Now it will graduate from just empty slap to kicking you in the gut. Do you know that there's this guy whose wife had just delivered and she had a cesarean section? The wound was still not even healed properly yet. Like, it was literally, the stitches had just been taken out. And this woman found out that the man was sleeping with a side chick. The side chick had been calling. The husband had forgotten the phone in the bedroom. And so she picked up the phone, and the girl started saying, oh, baby, you said you were going to come yesterday and you didn't come, and blah, blah. And the girl was quiet on the phone, so she knew what was happening. Then later on, when the girl realized that the guy wasn't saying anything, she hung up the phone. So the husband comes back into the room later on, and the wife says, your girlfriend called. She had been calling several times. I didn't know who it was. And by the way, he had saved the girlfriend's name as a guy. Let's just say Philip. And so I picked up the phone, and it ended up being your side chick. So here's your phone back. The man got angry, dragged the sick wife by the hair to the floor and started kicking her in the gut, kicking her in between her legs till she started bleeding. The wound opened on the side and had to be taken into hospital and into surgery again for that wound to be reopened, cleaned up, and stitched back up again. She had to be on antibiotics for a whole month because that whole area had become inflamed, and the doctors were so concerned that it has become septic. Is this a sort of man for you to think that you can really spend the rest of your life with? And it goes without saying that that marriage ended. But the crux of what I'm saying is that, what if this girl had died? And there's so many women who have tolerated that and thought that, oh, God will change him. If I leave him now, it's not good for the sake of my children. And a lot of our sisters have cut their life short because of that. Do I need to get started? Bimbo, Osinachi, Barbara Tommy. Those are the prominent ones that was, made news on social media in the last 2-3 years. So we all know about it and we talk about it. What about the ones that happen behind camera, behind closed doors, that you, me, and everybody else in between doesn't know nothing about? My brother, if you don't want the woman anymore, you went to a family, paid by price, If she's not good enough, you can take her back. She's somebody else's priceless commodity. So if you can't be with her anymore, you don't have to beat her up. You just send her back to her family. And to my sisters, those of us who think that we have to get the Grammy Award, we have to wear the badges of beating. For you to know that, oh yes, I was a woman and I stayed. Who are you sacrificing for? Who? And people say, I struggled with this man for 20 years. I'm not going to leave him for some other woman to come and enjoy everything. Stay there and die. Yeah, because of property. Property is more important to you than your life. Stay and perish. But all of these things rear their heads from the very get-go. And as I said, we gloss over them, either because we're so desperate or because we think, oh, it's nothing, they can change, or we will change them. And that's why we stay. But that is the biggest mistake of your lifetime. If somebody is angry, let them take their anger and frustration to therapy. You are not a punching bag. You are not the one that needs to be on the receiving end of somebody else's pent-up frustration. The Bible allows people to be angry. Even God himself got angry, not to talk of we humans. So it is not the getting angry that is the problem. The issue is, what do you do when you're angry? For me, when I'm extremely angry, I just don't say nothing. I keep my mouth shut. Why? Because anything that comes out of my mouth, I can't take it back. So I shut up. I take myself away from the situation. I put my shoes on. I go for a walk. That is how I control my anger. I don't know what you do. I just don't say nothing. Because when you talk, the things that you say, you can't take them back, whether you meant them or not. You can't go back in time and undo what you said. I'm not a violent person by nature. I can't even kill a fly. So, I'm not that sort of person. But if there's something that is making me extremely upset and I can't do anything about it, I just remove myself away from the situation. That's it. Not everybody has the ability to do that. Some people will say one thing, then the other person will also reply, and then now you're doing this, and now you're and then before you know it, this little conversation has escalated into something. My sister, I beg you. You are amazing. You're beautiful. You were made in the image and likeness of your most high God. You were not made to come and endure. Marriage is not endurance. And yes, good days come, difficult days come. We're human beings. Even twins born on the same day from the same source, they fight. And so I'm not saying that marriage is just a bouquet of roses and it's always happy times. No. But if you don't have emotional intelligence and maturity to deal with the difficult challenges, my lovely, you're not ready for marriage or any type of relationship. And this is not even just about marriage. It's about any human relationships. Relationships with your colleagues at work, because people are going to step on your toes. You're going to have different ways of working, different ways of approaching things. It's with your children. It's with your family, your siblings, your sisters, your brothers, your mom, your dad. Anybody that is around you can make you angry. And it is about how you control yourself when you're angry. It's what makes all the difference. That's what shows the sort of person that you are. For me, it's silence. I would have heard everything you said. I know your mind, but it's silence. And in that silence, I'm planning what I'm going to do, how I'm going to remove myself from that situation, if it needs to be permanent, but I don't retaliate. But don't misconstrue that silence to mean that I'm stupid. Because when I come back, I come back hard. I've made up my mind and I just do what needs to happen. It's as simple as that. And so my sister, please, I beg you. a violent man, an angry man, nah, stay away from that. Stay well away from that. If they love you enough, they should need to go get their feelings to therapy and heal themselves. If they need to do anger management, let them go do anger management. Like, address the foundational issues that are causing the anger, because you will not become the punching bag that is used to address issues. A word to the wise is enough. The next kind of guy that I want to talk about is a visionless guy. You're a man. You're the head of the house. You are going to be the one that is the captain of our ship or boat, the captain of the cruise, the captain of the plane that we are going into space, the space of life, to make something of our lives with. If you don't have any vision, if you don't know where you're going, if you don't even know what you want in the first place, how are you going to lead us? Where are we going? Marriage is not about looks and you know, six-pack, how tall or short he is, how big or small he is, how big his dingling is. Those things are just physical things. And whilst I'm not saying that, you know, you can't have your preference about who you want, that is not what should be upmost on your scale of preference, because beauty fades over time. 20 years ago, I did not look anything like this. I am still waiting to show you pictures of myself when I was much younger. I just haven't gotten my mom round to sending me those pictures yet, but it's coming. Right? And back in those days, oh my God. Today, this is me. This is the 40-something-year-old me. And I still love myself as I am, and so is he. If you're dating somebody, when you met him, he had, you know, high top, you know, his hair would grow every 2 weeks. He needs to go to the barbering shop every 2 weeks. Now, 20 years later, he has some iron filings on the sides of his hair, and all this place is zero, motorway. Yeah, that is life. I even have gray hairs. Even my eyelids, they're grays in there now. That is the new me. And I love me now because this is the me now. If you think that, you know, this marriage thing is all about looks and how he looks, some people marry because, oh, this man, when we go to funerals and, you know, and he wears the traditional wear and he's so tall and, you know, we're together, everybody will be looking at me and how lucky I am to have a man like this. I see. But there's nothing that is worth having in here. When he talks, he's full of jazz. Total nonsense. Nothing sensible is coming. It's being produced here. Where are you going? Where are you going? How can two walk together unless you're in complete and total agreement? Where are you going? A visionless man. A man that doesn't know what they want in this life. And there are lots of people like that. Like, their whole life is just left to chance, you know? And they just allow things to happen to them. They are constantly reacting to situations. They're not proactive about what it is that they want. And sometimes they'll tell you, you know, it is God that man proposes and it is God that decides what happens. It's true. But with man's proposition, at least there's a plan that you're working on, and then God can have something to work with. But there's no map. There's no plan. You just get up and you start walking. Where are you walking to? Where are you going together? Where? And so unless there's a plan, unless this guy knows where he's going, what he wants out of life, like what are his ethics? What morals does this person have? One of the main things that I will never, ever in this life forget about my father is that he always used to tell us growing up that everybody has to have a moral compass, something that guides your life and the choices that you make. And if your parents have not been able to instill that something inside of you, where you're able to decipher what is right from what is wrong, then I guess they failed. Or you weren't prepared to listen. Moral compass is something that everybody should have. and decipher for themselves what that moral compass should be. Right? There's certain things that you know. Let's forget about scripture, the Bible, religion. You know that this thing is wrong. Like, do unto others as you want them to do to you. You want to treat everybody horribly, right? But you want people to treat you right. Like, where is the balance there? It doesn't make any sense. Life is a science. It's a give and take affair. What you put out there, that's what you're getting back. Right? And so life is all about you having your own standards and adhering to those standards, whatever they happen to be. Whatever happens, you know that this is it. This is me. And you don't do anything out of that because you've made a decision and a commitment that this is me regardless. Right? And so a man who doesn't have any vision, who doesn't know where he's going, today he wants this, tomorrow he wants that, he doesn't want this, tomorrow he wants that, he can't decide that this is it. Oh, my sister, you have a lot of work to do. There's a lot that's going to happen. A lot of people get tired because you only have enough energy for your own self for a day. If you now have to carry your spouse around, your back will break. Full grown-ass man, he doesn't know what he wants. And you always have to be in the one that is standing in the gap and making the decisions and everything. Oh, my sister. Wahala day. Wahala day for you. You are in trouble. So let's not gloss over these things and just think that, oh, it's nothing, it's okay, and all of that, because it's not okay. Okay? It's not okay. The next sort of guys that I want to talk about here, over-possessive man. Some men feel that when they're married to you or you're in a relationship with them, that they own you, like you're a piece of commodity to be had, right? The fact that we're married, I'm in love with you, you're in love with me, and we're married, doesn't mean that I am an object of possession to you. We are still individuals in the marriage. We complement each other in that relationship, but you don't own me. If you love me well enough, trust me that I'm doing the right thing, or I know what the right thing is to do, but I still have a life. A man picks a fight with his wife because the wife works with a set of guys in the office, and one of them lives not too far away from her. She doesn't have a car. They only have one car, which the guy takes to work because he works further away than she does. And so she's given a lift by this guy. The guy drops her off at the house. The man is home, and he can see from upstairs in the window that the girl is out there. The car has pulled up. She's gotten out of it. She spends a few minutes saying something to the guy, and then she's laughing, and they wave at each other, and he drives off. By the time she gets to the door, she's already chopping slap because she was seen laughing with a guy. Right under my nose. You are having an affair with your work colleague. What impudence? How can you do this? Blah, 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 blah. Like, excuse me? How did 1 + 1 become 10? So because you're married to this woman, she doesn't have a life anymore? She can't laugh with anybody because she's married to you. And it's vice versa. I told you, I'm coming back in a couple hours to also talk about 10 types of women, or some kinds of women, that my brother should also never consider to have anything to do with. And this same over-possessiveness, it plays a feature in that video as well. But there's some men like that. Some men don't allow their wives to be on TikTok, WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook, nothing. Because this is how you're going to not be a dutiful wife and stay in the marriage. This is how you are not going to be a good woman. Really? Like, seriously. Any human being that doesn't know who they are, that is affected or changed because of social media, please. There were already cracks in your relationship from way back. Don't come and blame it on social media. I beg you. Do you know the sorts of things that go on social media? People think that it's only bad things that people learn. It's only dancing and people, exposing their nakedness and everything. This is like a marketplace. When you go to the market, some people are selling salted fish. Other people are selling tomatoes. Other people are selling cooking oil. Other people are selling rice. You know what you want now. You just go to the market and buy what you want. Nobody forces you that you have to buy that dry fish. You must buy it. If it's kwamo, you must buy that kwamo today. No, because if you don't want it, you don't want it. You just buy what you want and you're out of the marketplace. And so in the same manner, both men and women are on social media. Some people are doing business on social media. Some of us are content creators on this same social media. We are also here. We're learning. We're talking. We're advising each other. I pick up a lot of things from all of you here. Your comments, your likes, your engagement. I learned so much from you. And I hope that you learned something from me too. But this is social media. There's a lot that happens. And then there are the influencers. There are all sorts of people doing all kinds of other stuff. There are people who just make us laugh on social media because that's their talent. It's a marketplace and people get from it what they get from it. There's some particular content creators I go to when I need a laugh. I like to laugh a lot. I like to release tension a lot because I work in an industry that is extremely stressful. And so at the end of my day, I need to chill out. I need to have a laugh. So I go to certain people for that because they're going to make me laugh. The other people I listen to because I learn a thing or two from them. They inspire me. They're mentors of mine. I love them. It is a marketplace. So please don't blame the problems in your marriage on social media. Social media is just highlighting the root causes of a bigger problem that you need to sort out. There's so many families today that don't even talk to each other anymore. The husband comes back from work and he's on his phone. He's on his phone. The wife comes back and she joins him because, well, if you're not going to talk to me, what do you want me to do? I'm also a human being. Let me also go and engage on social media and have my fun and go to bed. And then the children are also on their tablets playing games and doing everything. There is never family time to sit down and talk. But you can't blame social media for that. Because there are other homes where when people come back from work, there's actually a box. Everybody puts their stuff there and they sit down as a family and have dinner and talk so that the children can tell the parents what happened in school and whatever else. And the parents can also have a chat with their children. Husband and wife can also have me time to talk. If you allow social media to control you, that is on you. That's not on social media. Because the phones, the marketplace does not control you. If you allow your television and telenovelas to take up your time, is it their fault? They are also just airing what they have. It's your choice to decide, I'm just going to watch one episode of La Supadora or whatever it is and walk away. Or decide that you're going to binge watch 10 episodes of whatever, EastEnders. That's your problem. That's not on EastEnders. That's not on La Supadora. They're doing the thing. It's on you to decide what you want. And so please, my darling, make up your mind and decipher for yourself whether this guy, this over-possessive guy that I'm calling my boyfriend, my man, what is it going to be like when we're married? Must he take over my complete life? I don't like this friend. Ever since you got married, there's this one, I don't like her. She's not even married. Why are you talking to her? I don't want you to be friends with that one. I don't want you. But before he met you, All of these people were in your life, and he liked you just as you are. He loved you with all of those people. Why should he try to change you now because you're his wife? Did he really love you? Did he love that version of you? Was that not what he saw, that he fell in love with to begin with? Why should he now be telling you, don't talk to this one, you can talk to this one, don't be friends with that one? And we women who allowed that to happen, once all the social circles are cut off from you, when there's now a difficulty in your life, you feel so isolated. There's nobody to go to. You can't even talk to your friends no more, because when you got married, you cut them all off. Whether they're married or single or not, you choose who your friends are. But cutting everybody out of your life simply because you're married, to me, it doesn't sound prudent. It is only a weak man who doesn't think that he's adequate, like he deserves to have this woman in his life, is the one that does that. If you know who you are, and you know that you're enough, that you love your wife because you love her, you don't try to, manipulate and control everything. It's like you're holding a thing over her neck and squeezing the living daylight out of it. Why? Why? Let her breathe. You breathe too. And by the way, there's something called me time. Maybe some of us don't know what me time is. But any relationship that makes you feel like you're choking, you're claustrophobic all of the time, it's not going to go anywhere. Me time is necessary because it gives you guys the time to miss each other. That's what brings up the spice in your marriage or relationship. If your husband always wants to sit with you, you cannot get up. Even when you sit in the toilet, he wants to sit there with you. Abba, do you ever have time to just be you and just breathe? And it's vice versa. There's some women who do the same thing too. It's like, when you got married, did you stop losing things that you wanted to accomplish for yourself? Like, maybe it's learning a new skill. Maybe it's doing something better. Don't you have a hobby? It can't be 24/7. Like, what is this? You have to have me time. You time, me time, where you can be by yourself. Like, think about things and process things for yourself. The fact that you're married, the fact that you're in relationship, doesn't mean every 2 minutes you have to call him, he has to call you, and you're laughing, spending hours on end when there's things that you could accomplish for yourself. It doesn't make you love him or her any less when you want to have me time. There are times when I get fed up with my own circle, like my own environment, the same house, the same four walls, the same place, the same area. Maybe I can't afford to travel away somewhere. I go check myself into a hotel overnight. If I need longer, I do that. Why? Because it's like my creative juices have gone dry. I just need to be somewhere else so that things can start to flow again. You see me sometimes. I go out with my friends, Luba, Nina, Betty, and the rest. Why? Because, I just want to be. I want to do something else. And they are my friends. Ikuamua is my friend. I have so many people that are friends of mine. I like to hang out with them. Angelina is a friend of mine. Sometimes you just want to not do the same things every single time. And the fact that I want me time, the fact that I want to go hang out with the girls, if that's what I want to spend my me time on, does not mean that I have no regard for whoever. If I'm married, I don't have regard for him. If I'm in a relationship, I don't care about him. He should also have his own me time too, and go do him, so that we can all breathe. And then you miss each other. You can't wait to hang out and spend time with each other again. That is how to do it. Me time is necessary. It's necessary. Maybe you need time to go pray about something. It's not a big of an issue for your husband, so, it's your problem. You go deal with it. Go talk to God if that is what your me time is needed for. Sometimes you just need rest, like just peace and quiet, so you can think. I do that all the time. All the time. If I need to be away, I pack a bag, I check myself into a hotel, and I stay there. Maybe it's just overnight. I just need to get dinner and just be quiet. I just do that. There is nothing wrong with that. Okay? The next thing that I wanted to talk about, and maybe this is one of the last things, is a promiscuous man. Promiscuous man. Me time is needed in every setting, traditional or African or otherwise. People need to breathe. Yes, you need time to just breathe. Take a deep breath. It has nothing to do with culture, tradition, where you're from or where you're not from. Everybody, him and you both need time to breathe. A promiscuous man. Yeah, that's the next group of people. Any man who doesn't have the spirit of discipline and contentment to say that this woman is enough for me. I just want to be by myself with this woman. This woman is who I want to spend my life with. And goes dipping it everywhere. Dipstick. Dipping it everywhere. Everything in skirt they must have. They must taste it. If you're living with that kind of a guy who made you believe from the very beginning that it is only going to be you, it's always ever going to be about you, and they change their minds, my sister, you would be miserable. There are some men in our culture who cannot be a one-woman man. They can't. They just have to have variety, difference, all kinds of people. But if you're like that, my brother, isn't it better that from the get-go, the woman that you want to be with understands from the very beginning that, hey, I'm not just only going to be with you, there are going to be other women. You give the woman the choice and the chance to decide whether this is something she can cope with or this is something that she doesn't want. But to lead somebody on into thinking that it's always ever going to be you, and then 20 years down the line, you now come back and say, hey, by the way, it wasn't only always going to be you. Now that I've made it, now that I have money, now that I can do what I like and I can afford more than one woman, hey, guess what? I'm going to have somebody else. Shoving it down her neck. That is deception as far as I'm concerned. And so hiding around and dipping it everywhere and doing all of those things is not right. You know who you are from the very beginning. Decide what that is. Make up your mind about it. But let her know from the very beginning, hey sis, if you want to be with me, you must understand that I'm going to have other women. You're not going to be the only one. Does this work for you or does this not work for you? If she loves that, if she thinks she loves you enough to make you go do whatever you want to do, she'll stay. No problem. You told her from the very beginning that that is what it is. So she can decide that that's what she wants. If she doesn't want that, she leaves. If she wants that, she stays. Then there's no problem. So if 5-10 years down the line, she sees that she's not the only one that is getting the goods, but there are other people enjoying it too, hey, that's what she signed up for. There's no surprises. But the worst possible thing you can do is to tell somebody you're the love of my life, you're the one I want to spend the rest of my life with, and then midway in that journey, you start doing something that is contrary to what you agreed to from the very beginning. That's a breach of contract. And if she decides to walk away, then that's what she does. And you can't cry foul because you set a set of rules. And this is how this contract, these are the terms and conditions of the contract. All of us talking A lot of us that live, especially those of us that live in the diaspora, we have contracted cell phones that we take out the contract on. And it says you're going to have 1,000 voice minutes a month with so and so gigabytes of data. If you go over that, you pay more. Why? Because that's exceeded the terms and conditions of the contract. It's like that with anything. Anything that you agree to. And so in ordinance marriage, you're saying that you're going to be with this woman, forsaking all others. This is going to be my wife, the flesh of my flesh, the bone of my bone, and I'm going to be with this woman for the rest of my days. If she doesn't do it for you anymore, you need to go back to that place and end things. Dissolve that contract, end that contract, whatever, terminate the contract. But what you don't do is, I'm going to be with this one forever and a day, marry her, ordinance marriage, and now you're sleeping around with other people. And some of our brothers, I don't know whether they fully understand what they're doing by getting into ordinance marriage and then wanting to have other people on the side of that. The Lord does not agree to that. Ordinance marriage, one woman, one man. That's how it works. Anything else is bigamy. And that is punishable by law. If you know that you're a multiple woman sort of guy, this must be clear from the very beginning. So the person knows, the sister knows what she's getting herself into from the get-go. This guy cannot have one woman. He likes to have variety. I'm just one of many. You leave. And it's okay, whatever that decision happens to be. The last thing that I want to talk about is an ignorant guy. There's nothing wrong. Hello, Sister Helen. How are you doing? There's nothing wrong with not knowing. You know, we don't know everything in this life. I don't know everything in this life. I'm learning every single day. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's everything wrong with being ignorant of something and not wanting to learn about it. There's everything wrong with that. This life, we are always constantly evolving and changing. Things are always changing. Right? Some of us, we used to have black and white televisions, right? And then today we have color TVs. We used to have color TVs that were so huge that, you know, you just have the flat screen, but there's so much stuff behind it. Time is still advanced now. And now the TV's thickness is like that. You can hang it to the wall. You can do all kinds of things. Time is constantly changing. Right? And so you decide what works best for you. But at the end of the day, one thing that you must never do is to become obsolete. Because time is moving so fast. And if you don't learn what is going on, my sister, you get left behind. My brother, you get left behind because things are constantly advancing. It is just as simple as that. But to be ignorant, not know something, and also then go out proudly and be showing your ignorance, that's like, what the hell? Learn something new. Be open to new opportunities, new ways of doing things. I mean, 100 years ago, 50 years ago, my great-grandmother was using, 2 stones, a bigger one and a smaller one, to mash tomatoes and make sauces and soups out of that. Then it went into an earthenware bowl, so the mashing was much easier because now it's in a hollow, device. And then it went on and on. Pestle and mortars and all sorts of things. Today we have blenders that do all kinds of things. If you want it smooth, there's a different blade. If you want it, not so smooth, there's a different blade for everything. And it's still advancing. Today you can even mash up something from your cup. You just need the handheld thing. You stick it in there and the blades are moving. with the speed of light, and it mashes up everything just the way you want it. Even nuts are getting crushed in split seconds because of advancement. So just as scientific things and, gadgets are changing, we humans, we are also evolving too. If you stay in your ignorance and say, well, this is what I know, and this is this is the best way to do things, you get left behind. Anybody worth their salt has to be open to learning new things. What works better? How can we do this better? And if you're not like that, you just get left behind. You're obsolete. The ideas that you have are a cake. I saw a comment there about somebody saying, oh, your followers and the people that watch you have to be Western. Why are you here? Because I just turned my camera on and I started talking, and those who are interested in listening to what I'm saying are the people that are here. We keep going on about Western. That's Africa that we knew. Is that how Africa used to be when our great-grandmothers were alive? Are there people who are not in Lagos, Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, and the rest that do things that are even 10 times what those of us that live in the diaspora do? When I was a child, there was nothing like Black Friday or Halloween in Ghana. But today, my nieces and nephews, they celebrate Halloween in school in Ghana. So what are you talking? Things are evolving. Like the people that live there, they live the life that is even 10 times more than the Americans, the Brits, the Canadians do. So when you're telling me that, my audience needs to be Western, I don't really know what you're talking about. I just turned my camera on and I'm sharing. Those who want to watch, they are watching. Some are African, some are not. Some are white, some are black, brown, whatever you are, I don't care. I just love people. And I'm saying that, you're waiting for lessons learned from Fela. It is coming, my dear. I am just still listening to the two of them, but it is coming. But one of the huge things at the end of the day is that people always only want you to see what they want you to see. At the end of the day, when it all comes down, when the cookie crumbles, people will only show you what they want you to see. And when you have issues with somebody that you're married to, social media is the last place to air your issues. When you're married and you have issues, social media is the last place to resolve your issues. We've turned social media into like a court of law, but it's not. People's public opinions, why should that matter? Why? Are they the ones you're married to? Should what we think make a difference to your life? You live your life, you eat your food. None of us on social media, we don't buy you food, we don't feed you, we don't do anything. Like, people are so deceived into thinking that the things that most people show you on social media is what is really going on, and it's not. Those of us that as real as can be, our life is like the palm of our hands. We are not loved a lot by a lot of people. We are not. We are not loved by a lot of people. Why? Because we just say it as it is. There is no painting or glossing over anything. This is me. This is me. You love me, you loathe me, this is me. And it's fine. I'm fine with either. Because, even Jesus himself, he wasn't loved by everybody. His own people didn't love him. So it's cool. But the point I'm making here is that as my sister in this house, there's certain types of people that you should shy away from. If you really want to be married for any length of time, there's certain kinds of men that you really, really, truly should shy away from, step away from, if you want your marriage to go anywhere. Marriage is hard work. Relationships, they're hard work. This is somebody else's son or daughter. that is coming into your life from somewhere, raised differently, trained differently, and you're trying to make a life together. It's not easy. Even siblings that come from the same place, it's not easy. Not to talk of somebody else's son or daughter that has been raised differently to you, and you're trying to make a life together. It's not fun all of the time. It's not easy all of the time. But you can make that burden lighter when you make informed decisions about who it is you want to be with. And that's all we're talking about here. If you pick a lazy man, that's one I own problem. If you pick a guy that is promiscuous, you're always going to know that that Bula Matali is not for you alone. There are other people who will be enjoying too. So you decide what works for you, but I'm just highlighting what it is that you're buying when you decide that this is what you really want. Don't allow loneliness, and feeling that you're so vulnerable, oh, I'm so lonely, to push you into thinking that, oh, I don't care, I can cope with anything. No, you can't. Because as soon as the dust settles, you start to regret that decision. And marriage isn't something that you can just walk away from. And so you've made a decision out of, desperation. And now you have to live with it for the rest of your life. Divorce is not funny and should not be taken lightly. So that is why if you're going to get married, it's a serious decision, a commitment that you're making. So make sure that your head is screwed on right when you're making that life transformational decision. That's all I'm saying. Transformational decision. Do you know that a lot of people's lives were cut short just because they decided to marry the wrong guy? Look at Osinachi. If she hadn't married that guy, would she not still be alive today? Will we not be enjoying her music? Like, her voice just gives you goosebumps when you listen to it. But now she's 6 foot under. Died before her time. Why? Because she married Yeye man. Savage guy. Bimbo, the same sort of thing. Burnt alive. Barbara Tommy, shot 7 times right in front of her workplace. What kind of a human does that to somebody that they purport to love? Some men are making life too difficult for us. Thank you, Solomon. They are good guys. There are some very amazing men out there. And I applaud every single good guy that is out there. I was blessed to be fathered by one. And so I know that there are good men out there. I have uncles that are just the same, and I love the socks off of every good man that is around me in my life. But at the same time, I've also had the opportunity and the privilege to see rotten type of men too. People who are so irresponsible, they won't look after their children. Absentee fathers and irresponsible men. Please, let's not get me started on that. That just jacks up my blood pressure. Makes me so upset. Men who are not responsible for their children. Create the problem and disappear from the problem. Let's not get started on that. So my sister, I know what I'm telling you when I'm telling you to open your eyes. Don't marry a selfish man. Don't marry a stingy man. Don't marry a greedy man. Do not marry a promiscuous man, because my sister, once he's done with you, he's going to throw you to the wayside like a piece of trash and move on to the next victim. Is what I'm saying. A word to the wise is enough. Expect me in 2 hours' time to tell my brothers in the house also the sorts of women that they should also avoid. It's a two-way street. I play fair here. There are also good men that are suffering at the hands of some very unreasonable women. That is true too. You should look at both sides of the coin and address issues and call it out for what it is. So 2 o'clock, 9 p.m. UK time. Stay tuned for Sika Antonio coming back on Sika Educates to also advise the brothers about the sorts of women that they should also stay away from in this thing called marriage. I love you so much. God bless you. Stay beautiful and handsome. And remember, marriage is not to be taken lightly. You decide what works for you. Make sure you're comfortable with your decision before you make it. God bless you. Mwah. Please share this video. I beg you, share this video. Share this video. And those of us who really want to start enjoying Ghanaian dialect videos, 3 videos to be precise, please go to Balanced Cellular Health, that page. It's on Facebook. Talk about health issues, but also talk about life lessons, relationship issues with my very own Pastor Patience. I can't wait for us to really get going, but we need the followership. So please follow that page. And very soon, she and I will be on there like crazy doing videos. I love you. I have a TikTok channel, Sika Educates. I have a YouTube channel, Sika Educates. There's 60,000 and plus people here. Please spare a moment if you love me and subscribe to the channel on YouTube and also on TikTok. I love you so, so much. Have a fantastic Monday. And know that I love you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all so much for your unwavering love and support. You guys rock. Mwah. Bye for now.